But then, Big Rong came up with a good idea, sending Don for a vacuum cleaner and Xiao to notify classmates to disconnect batteries. He hooked up batteries to his homemade generator, boom. It worked right away, shocking even the principal. This kid built a generator and a DIY vacuum cup with a cleaner. Thanks to everyone, the kids safely came online. The principal was deeply moved, yet everyone was bustling like ants on a hot stove. Big Rong quietly packed his bags to sneak away, but the burly principal rushed after him. We're not done yet. On your first day, you asked me about why can't you use a pencil? Because pencils break and can hurt astronauts. You're so naive. You're wrong. You can't be right all the time. Here, let me give you this. 4 years of ups and downs created the bond, and in that moment, all grudges faded away. Before they knew it, graduation day arrived. 4 years of school life intertwined with joy and sadness. Everyone cheered and let go of everything, but Big Rong was completely silent. Even decked out in accolades, at that moment, Big Rong realized this identity no longer belonged to him. He quietly slipped out of the crowd, disappearing from everyone's sight. 6 years later, Dawn got a strange call from Zheng Tianlei. I found Big Rong, she said. With the plane about to take off, Dong pretended to faint to get off. Xiao was so excited he forgot to wear his pants. They rocketed up to the rooftop. Nowhere was Big Rong seen. Zheng Tianlei showed off a new life mansion, fancy cars blindingly luxurious. Today marks the anniversary of Zheng Tianlei's bet with Big Rong 10 years ago. They joked, what if you win against Big Rong? What if he's not the same anymore? How do you know he's worse than you? Zheng Tianlei shrugged, saying she found Big Rong's house, inviting them to witness. On the way, Xiao covered himself with Zheng's missionette. Hurry, knock me down, I just bought it for the client. All this plastic surgery is just a misunderstanding, they said, arriving at the mansion just in time for Big Rong to be on the scene. But the Big Rong they found was not the one they knew, leaving them quite disheartened. Suddenly, they noticed the wall photos had all changed. Something was fishy. They asked Zheng Tianlei, who revealed she was in talks with a scientist named Ramanujan. This person has over 400 invention patents. A successful partnership would land her on the Forbes list. Her assistant visited Ramanujan multiple times, but failed. But she accidentally snapped Big Rong. To find him, they returned to the rich guys, ready to report impersonation. The rich guy laughed and instantly pointed his wand at them. But these two were determined. They reported the rich guy's late father's ashes were headed. If you don't tell the truth, we'll flush your dad down the toilet. Whoa, bro, don't be impulsive. Finally, the rich guy spilled the beans. Big Rong had actually taken his spot in class, and he gave them Big Rong's real address. Halfway, they remembered they forgot Kyuhyur. Turned back to get her. However, Zheng Tianlei refused, citing tight signing deadlines, and they, in agreement, hopped in the car to turn back. Little did they know, Kyuhyur was also at her wedding. Hearing about Big Rong, she felt sad because she resented his abrupt departure back then. Plus, she was about to become a bride. Listening to Xiao's words, memories flooded back as the car door opened. It seemed like a brand new door to happiness had swung open for her. She was determined to uncover the veil of truth and personally arrived at the location of the witnessed event. But surprisingly, she found that the address was actually a school. However, all the students there were busy working on inventions, making it a paradise. Big Rong's identity felt utterly insignificant here. At this point, Zheng Tianlei was mentally rehearsing how to humiliate Big Rong, getting overly excited. You know. Just then, 2 kids told him about that prank. Who's misbehaving kids? The kids exchanged glances and quickly tossed down a wire. Seeing this, Zheng Tianlei was certain Big Rong was around. They entered a room and found Kyuhyur's old helmet, along with Don's years of photography. The computer even showed Xiao's latest post. Apparently, all these years Big Rong never forgot. Meanwhile, Big Rong was playing with kids when Kyuhyur arrived on a motorcycle. Had envisioned the scene countless times. He stood there frozen, afraid to move and go back to reality. A slap brought him back to the present. Before Big Rong could say a word, Kyuhyur leaped forward, hugging his neck and kissing him, making him realize nothing bad would happen when 2 people kiss. Just then, Don and Xiao caught up, hugging Big Rong tightly in a group embrace. At that moment, it felt like no words were needed to express anything, because no language could describe this moment of longing for Big Rong. At that moment, Zheng Tianlei marched up to Big Rong, mocking him for being just a village teacher, and pulled out the pre-prepared failure contract for him to sign. Grabbing the space pen from Big Rong's hand, Zheng Tianlei scoffed, "Loser doesn't deserve this pen, it belongs to the successful." Strutting away in triumph, the group asked Big Rong his real name. He smiled slightly and said, "I'm Ramanujan, the scientist." They were all stunned, rushing to call Zheng Tianlei, but she was already dizzy with victory. She wouldn't listen to what they said, and Big Rong simply called Zheng Tianlei. Seeing Ramanujan's call, Zheng Tianlei felt thrilled, but learned the contract was cancelled. She gritted her teeth in frustration. "What did you win?" "You took my pen." Zheng Tianlei glared at the pen, then at Big Rong on the call. She seemed to realize something, seeing Ramanujan's signature. She no longer cared about winning or losing.